told me that I had to be good, but now I love because I want to. I love because I am free, blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Yes, it is. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh, I don't need any prodding. I don't need any laws. Somewhere I learned that God is my all in all. Let go of my burden. Loving God has made me free. Blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Yes, it is. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh, Lord, give me some bass. Used to think that I had to. I used to think that I should. Scripture told me that I had to be good. But now I love because I want to. I love because I am free. Blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Yes, it is. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon you. Oh. Whoop, whoop. Hey, everybody, say hello to our family on Facebook, YouTube, and our webpage. Hey, everybody. And today we have a wonderful guest artist that I'm told was with you a long time ago. And thanks to Sarah reconnecting us, he's back. So, Michael, come on and say hello to everybody.
Universal Spirit Center, how are you doing? So great to be with you this morning. My name is Michael Tiernan, and it has been eons since I have been down there to Universal Spirit Center. But a little secret, I got my start playing in some of the Centers for Spiritual Living and those sort of churches at your venue several years ago. And wow, what a great world that opened up to me. So it's good to be back, and I'm loving your theme today, honoring the divine feminine. And I'm going to play a couple songs of mine that remind me of that and speak to just that. So enjoy the service. We'll see you in a bit for some music. Cheers, everybody.
All right. Michael, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you. So a couple announcements I have. The first is we are physically opening to everyone. We're so excited about this. On June 20th, we will have 2 Sunday gatherings. We'll have our normal 8:30 gathering, which is more meditative. And any of you that might want to continue the social distancing, you might want to consider coming to the 8:30 gathering because it's a much smaller group. So that might be a way for those of you who want to still remain socially distant to do that. And then we have our 10:30 gathering and as well as The 10:30 gathering will be broadcasted live. So those of you who want to stay in the comfort of your home, you're welcome to do that. You can still tune in on the various methods we come to you. 10:30, and as well, 10:30 we will have youth ministry as well. We're really excited about that. So we're moving. We're really excited about all of that. Also, we are looking for people to assist us in setting up this space and in tearing it down. So what this would require is about an hour on a Saturday evening, and then after our second gathering for about an hour. We ask that you're able to at least to lift at least 40 pounds, and it is a stipend position. So if you're interested or you have questions, please email Lee at leeuniversalspiritcenter.org. So please email Lee for that. And then Lee Armentrout, speaking of which, has more announcements for us. Here's Lee.
Why, yes, I do. Hi, everybody. It's so cool. We have practice people in the house, and we have people on the internet as well. It's very cool to talk to you both. This is our time for announcements, which everybody loves, don't they? Of course you do. So exciting news. We have an in-person class happening, and Reverend Kevin is going to be facilitating it. It's 11 Wednesdays starting June 23rd. 11 Wednesday evenings at our offices across the street. We have now up on the website actual registration. So if you've clicked already the interest list for that class, now please go back and register so we can capture that you're actually going to come. So that's our introductory class to our philosophy, and it's a really great way to make about, I don't know, a dozen new best friends, I always say. So Kitchen Conversations is an important part of what we offer here at Universal Spirit Center. Gina Walker facilitates this empowering evening, having discussions with people of color and all kinds of people, just learning about how to empower ourselves, how to explore and change. So don't miss that on June 23rd. Also, we'll be in person for Wednesday, Awakening Wednesday and Kitchen Conversations. So do come for that as well. What do you know how to support someone who is transgender? This is a question that you could answer should you come to the transgender training. It's an intersectional overview on how to support people in the LGBTQIA+ community. So join us on June 8th. There's a button on our website that says Community Room. Click that at 6:30 on June 8th and join the conversation. Yes. We have an action of the week. Our Racial Equality Project is also another important part of our offerings at Universal Spirit Center. We have an action of the week that we're going to offer, and this is it. Go to our website and click the tab. The George Floyd Memorial Foundation has provided 6 action steps or action opportunities during this 1-year anniversary to honor George Floyd. So there's a tab, and it displays all of those 6 action steps. So don't miss doing that. And as always, we still have prayer practitioners standing by on the prayer room button on our website. There are practitioners standing by to do a brief affirmative prayer with you. And that's all I've got. I'm going to invite Rev back up.
Thanks, Lee. Thank you. So we have our memorial candle lit today because tomorrow is Memorial Day. And so just to be clear, Memorial Day is when we honor all of our armed men and women of the armed forces who have made their transition, who have been killed in the act of a war. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe right into your heart space. And let's hold in our hearts all of those women and men who have sacrificed everything on behalf of our country. We hold them in that divine light. We hold them in the presence of God. And let's stretch our hearts even more to hold their families, their children, and their spouses, their parents, their loved ones. To know the peace that comes when we know that life is forever. And let's stretch our hearts even more and hold all men and women on our planet who have been killed through the acts of war. We hold all people, regardless of nation or country. And let us know together that peace is always the stronger force. And we know peace for our planet, for those places that continue to be in conflict and war. We know peace. And I invite you to stay right in this sweet space of this open heart as Sharonda Morris continues us this morning in our meditation time.
Rhonda G. Morrison. It is my honor and pleasure to lead us this morning in our meditation. So just staying in that still, peaceful, loving space that Rev has led us into, I just ask you just to take a breath. Settle in this moment as I read this passage from Joel Goldsmith. In the presence of spirit, which is released when you touch the center of your being, neither matter or mind can function in any injurious way to your experience. In the presence. How good it is to know that in this presence, the presence that's never an absence, Spirit is right there. How good it is to know right here now this morning, that this infinite glorious presence is right where I am, right where you are. And in the unfolding of this magnificent day as Universal Spirit Centers, we step into the awareness of gratitude and joy and peace and love and harmony, which is the presence of Spirit. So grateful to know that this day, a day that has been created by the divine for each of its creations to actually live in this day, to express as the divine in this day. So what I know is that this day is absolutely guided by this infinite holy presence that loves in, through, and as each and every one of us. And I know that the music, the words of Reverend Kevin, and the experience of each and every one of us seated here, and each and every one of us that are watching via live stream Facebook, just knowing that God is right there. In the presence of the divine, there is harmony. So allow this presence, this magnificent, this glorious love to saturate your very being right where you are. So knowing that this is a good day, a day of absolute good, a good God day. Grateful I am, and in this gratitude I rest. So it is.
Hey again, everybody. This first song is a song called Saint Teresa. Saint Teresa. There's two Teresas. They're doctors of the church in the Catholic world, which I grew up in. And I got to know both of them a little bit spiritually, and both had a very big influence in my own spiritual walk. And so this is a story that kind of started my spiritual quest. When I was 16 years old, I was battling cancer, and I was in a hospital room at USC Medical Center, and my grandma Elzire had brought me a statue, this little cartoonesque statue of Saint Therese of Lisieux, and said that all the Carmelite nuns were praying for my survival and for my health. And well, I survived, and a lot more than that. So I'm very grateful to their energy and their prayer, and also for the little flower, she's called, and talk about the divine feminine showing up in the oddest of places. Saint Therese of Lisieux, and also Saint Teresa of Avila. The song's sort of about both of them. And I offer it to you on this amazing Sunday. It's called Saint Teresa. Don't believe in magic, don't believe in ghosts. There's still some things about this world I don't know. People seeing visions, yeah, I even got real close to a woman who sees the Virgin Mary. Now, I was laying in a hospital bed, and from what they said, yeah, my future was uncertain. There was a statue placed right there by my head, along with a letter that said all would be well if you just pray, pray, pray. Saint Teresa, save me from myself. Saint Teresa tells the children all will be well, all will be well. Sometimes I miss the heroes and the saints that I pass around like trading cards for the faithful. But you made me who I am, you made this restless heart, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful.
I don't know the mechanism by which our prayers turn to energy. Something's changed, not in the pantheon, but in the one praying. And as I walk along these halls of my memory, there lies a resounding whisper telling me to pray, pray, pray. Saint Teresa, save me from myself. Saint Teresa tells the children all will be well, all will be well. When your mind's made up and you feel like you made your world around, yeah, when your mind's made up and this wrecking ball shatters your ground. Ooh, Saint Teresa, save me from myself. Saint Teresa tells the children all will be well, all will be well. Yeah, all will be well. All will be well.
Michael Tiernan. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I'm really moved by your song, having grown up Catholic as well, and I appreciate your acknowledgement of our discussion this month of the divine feminine. And you know, even in Catholicism, where it's so controlled by men and masculine, the divine feminine leaks out. The divine feminine leaks out. She will not be silenced. So it's really cool. And I just want to say this. I just want to say there's a Carmelite monastery in my neighborhood. And there are cloister nuns that live there. And about 6 times a day, they have bells ringing throughout the day. And that's their call to prayer. So I can hear it from my house. And I always think, okay, the nuns are gathering for prayer. And it's powerful, powerful thing. So the divine feminine. So we've been talking about it this month. And I think the best way to maybe describe it or understand it, it's that part of God that sees us and loves us for who we are. Without pretense, without masks, just for who we are. Not having to pretend to be anyone else. And you know, that kind of love, when you and I can open to that kind of love, what we experience is our inner wholeness rises up within us. It's all about being whole. Because when you and I experience our wholeness, right, we're much less likely to react. We're more generous. We're caught up in the energy of loving kindness. So I want to talk about divine love of ourselves as I share with you the fact that I've had a rough couple of weeks. Kind of done some struggling, and it's been rough. And don't we know whenever we go through rough times or struggle, there's always growth and insight. So I have some insights with that I also want to share with you. So started a couple weeks ago with the realization that we had to move my dad from his sister's house into a boarding care, which is not an easy thing to do. And I want to talk a little bit about this because the fact is, whoever we are, we're all getting older. Some of us may think we look a little older as we've seen each other after not seeing each other for a year and a half, right? Well, if we think someone else looks older, guess what? We also look older, right? Works both ways. So we're all getting older. That's one thing. And then the second thing is, breathe on this one, no one gets out of here alive. Even the most enlightened guru, right? Everyone owes life an experience of death. You know, I think of this, even Lazarus, who was raised from the dead. Jesus raised him out of the tomb. He still ended up dying, right? He had to die again, the poor guy. So we all owe a death. So I want to talk about it in relation to that. And we talk a lot here about the seasons. And our lives go through the seasons. You know, spring can represent youth and enthusiasm and the ideals of being young, right? And all of that energy of growing up and our life being ahead of us. And then summer can represent when we're at the peak, the highness, we're in our prime, right? We've got it going on. All of our education and experience is living full out in the world. And then we've got fall. We're just beginning a little bit of a slowing down, maybe a little bit of a less activity in the world. And then we have the winter that moves to the dying or the death. So we're all somewhere in that process. And if you're in spring and you're thinking, oh, this talk doesn't apply to me, you will go through the other seasons. It's just going to happen. Or hope you do, right? Hope you do. So I want to talk a little bit about my dad because some real insights happened through that experience. So my mom died about 25 years ago, and it was an extremely painful experience for my dad. But in about 2 months, he met this woman who had just lost her husband, and they fell in love. And they dated behind our backs for a little bit, us kids, and then they finally came out with dating, and then they got married within a year. And for probably a decade, they lived in a cute house, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, on an acre of land that had a donkey in the back and a little dog and a bunch of squirrels. And my stepsisters lived nearby, and it was like an idyllic life. They both had cars. They had enough money, that they had earned. They were retired, and it was great. I just remember going up to visit them during those times, and I just felt like, my dad got a second chance and almost kind of deserves this with what he went through with my mom. And you could tell they really loved each other. It was in no way an experience of, convenience or whatever. And then she had 4 kids, and so we suddenly became this blended family. I have a sister, and so there were 6 of us, and we all got along great. So then, towards the end of that decade, my dad had a couple falls and broke both his hips, and in the replacement of one hip, they made some mistake, and his leg became permanently injured. And then his wife started to experience the early signs of dementia. So the family started getting more and more concerned about them living on their own, and came to a point where we 6 kids, and it was really nice to be in partnership with these other 4. These 6 kids got together and decided, they needed to move into an assisted living. They had a 1-bedroom apartment. It was very cute. The food was good. I know. I ate there a lot. Went in, and it was clean, and there were activities for them. And I thought, gosh, if they've got to be somewhere, that's the place. And all of the step siblings and my sister lived up there. I'm the only one who doesn't, and I'd go up periodically. So it was great. Well, within that time, then COVID happened, and a lot of the staff quit, and no one could go in and see them. And my stepsister happened to have to take my dad to the doctors one day, my dad and his wife, and found out they weren't getting the care that they needed. So we moved no one could take both of them, so we moved my dad to my sisters and my dad's wife to one of my stepsisters. And then one of my stepsisters building a house for them on her property and going to have a caretaker move in. That's the plan. So this would be a temporary thing during COVID. Well, the care for my dad became more than what my sister could handle. It became unsafe. And about 2 weeks ago, she called me and she said, I'm at a point where I don't think it's safe for him or for me to take care of him. So I called my stepsister, who's pretty hooked in with that community. And she said, why don't you and I get on the phone and call a bunch of board and cares, and then I'll come up, meaning me, I would come up and I would visit those board and cares from the top list that she and I came up with. That was the plan. The next day she calls me. She goes, I found a place. It's 5 minutes from your sisters. They're very kind. Come up and see it. So I came up. And it was great. They were very loving staff. It was clean. My dad had his own bedroom, his own bath. They were on it in terms of medication and care. I'm like, from what I could see, this is a go. So I moved my dad. He had to go to the hospital from there into the nursing home. Boarding care. So let me pause here. So in those years, I saw my dad's life getting smaller and smaller and smaller. From losing his home, the ability to drive, his dog that we took. So I saw, even though he didn't want it that way, and I know many of you through your parents or uncles and aunts or grandparents have probably experienced the same thing. I witnessed his life from being full to pretty small. Michael Beckwith says that as we get older in the winter of our lives get smaller so that our interior could get larger. Get larger to prepare us for the ultimate transition. And you know, when I have been, and I'm sure this is true for you, when I have been with someone who has been dying, I've noticed they leave their focus on the exterior, like on me or people around them, and they go to a heavy, introverted sense. They're much more focused on the inner process than they are on the outer. And I always think when that happens, they're preparing. They're preparing for this next journey, which isn't really an outer journey, it's an inner journey. And so Michael Beckwith says, for us to prepare for that final transition, for getting old, it doesn't have to be something that is painful or hard or a struggle when you and I maintain a strong inner life. We cultivate an inner life. And the Buddhists, there's a sect of Buddhism, you probably know this, that use death, the focus on death, as their major spiritual practice, so that they prepare for something that will happen. You know, our culture, we do everything we can to deny it, right? But the Buddhists are actually, a sect in Buddhism actually focuses on it as a way to live in the present moment now. And I'm sure we've all seen, because this is more the norm, people getting older and really struggle with death or getting older. Now, there's another way to do it. And, you know, Mary Rice comes to mind, who was a member of our community, but there are those for which it's not a struggle. So I want to say that right there. And I want to say, what else do I want to say? I want to talk about myself in that, like many of you watching, and many of you, pretend people in the room or practice people in the room? We've got some practice pretend people in the room, right? But like many of you, I was born with this keen knowledge of how other people should live their lives. How many of you were born that way? You have it, Gino, your hand should be up. You know how other people, yeah, both hands. You know, we just know how other people should live their lives. And I was born with this talent. And so I go up to where my dad lives, Northern California, and I really do know what's best. And I found myself, I will acknowledge this in front of you and God and everyone. We took my dad to the doctors, and I found myself almost arguing with the doctor about a certain med. And I left there thinking, wow, really? You know? But for me, it's had to be releasing control, because I'm not, for me, in this particular situation, I'm not up there. I'm not in charge. I don't have the reins. And I've got to give up. It's my dad's process. And it's those people next to him. I mean, I could certainly come up and I could be support. I could certainly be a sounding board. But my particular role in this play is not to be in charge. And that's tough, being the oldest male child, not to have the reins. It's letting go. Here's the second thing I had, second learning. We found this boarding care so easily, and I want to tell you more about this in a minute. I'm like, oh my God, God is so on this. God has this situation. It's just true. I knew we were guided. I knew we were synchronistic. I knew there was someone in control. And it wasn't me. And actually, thank God it wasn't me, but it wasn't me. It's too synchronistic. God has this. God has this. The third thing, we take my dad in there, and there was this one particular woman that was in charge of his care. She's Filipino. And she is so deeply loving to my dad. I am blown away at her devotion and attentiveness. You know, I get there at 8:30 in the morning to see him. He's dressed, he's showered, he's clean, he's shaved, he has breakfast, he's got a smile on his face. She's joking with him. She's sitting at the table with him. I'm just like, she's on it. The way she talks to my sister and to me, I know she is so conscientious. The loving kindness, and she had just met him, and she was a stranger to our family some 4 days ago. And I thought of that line, right, from kindness, the kindness of strangers, from the play, Kindness of Streetcar Named Desire. The kindness of strangers. You know, the devotional loving kindness that this woman who spends most of her life in this boarding care. So the last night I was there, the first night my dad was there in the boarding care, I stayed till he went to sleep because he was scared. And my dad and I have struggled a lot in our relationship. We just have. And I'm sure both of us have stories around that. So he went to bed and he was so scared. And it was his first night, and he was going to bed, and he was in a house of strangers. And I held his hands till he fell asleep. And I thought, I felt in my being every story or judgment or accusation I had about him completely melted away in that moment. I remember leaving there after he fell asleep a little almost disoriented from the moment of grace that was. And my cousin calling, checking in to see how things were. And, I'm just like, he struggled with his dad, and I'm like, I just had a moment of grace. Everything negative melted away. So I kind of want to review these learnings. They're powerful learnings for me, and they aren't related just to assisting someone in transitioning or getting old. It is letting go. What is it we need to let go of? And we say this here a lot, but that's probably for me one of the strongest message in spirituality. Let go. What situation now are you holding on to that really God has? And the divine is just saying, let go so I can do something here. It's hard for me to kind of do something when you're white knuckle on it. Just kind of let go so I can kind of get in here. That synchronicity, God's got it. And then open to the experience of loving kindness in yourself, in each other. It's powerful, and it's present, and it's here. The experience of loving kindness, it's who we really are. And then let the stories and the accusations and the judgments, just let them fade away. Just ask for the grace of Divine Mother to just let them melt away. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. And let's go ahead and close our eyes. And I'm going to invite you to just connect with the Divine Mother's love. Whether she comes to you as a presence on earth, presence of the Divine Mother, Mother Mary, maybe a woman that has an ancestor, a friend that has gone before you, gone on. But just get in touch with that divine feminine energy that sees you, and loves you. Just for who you are. No masks, no pretending, no being someone else. Just you. And so let's open now to the grace, to the presence, to let go. To let go to that which we hold on so tightly to. To have the awareness that God's got this, whatever this is in your life. God's got it. It's handled. It's done. And let's surrender into the experience of loving kindness. Loving kindness That's who we are. And then we open for the grace to forgive ourselves and to forgive others.
Clap along if you want, wherever you are. As a man ever died from feeling too much, everything in his heart like it's about to bust. I know some have passed from heartache and pain, but what I've been feeling is quite a different thing, yeah. And I owe it all to you, 'cause you help me see what to do. Cause a heart is a thing, and I know it can break. Just never thought it would be from such a good thing. But I don't have a clue how much I can hold, cause I feel like my love is about to overflow, yeah. And I owe it all to you, yeah. Cause you help me see what to do. Well, now, what am I gonna do with all this love, yeah? What am I gonna do with all this love, hey? I'm gonna spend it all on you, all of my love, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do with all this love, yeah. But when I feel empty and I worry what for, cause I know that there's a rain cloud, it's about to pour down again and again. You're filling me up, I can feel your love, it's filling me up. Well, yeah, come on. So what am I gonna do with all this love, yeah? What am I gonna do with all this love, yeah? I'm gonna spend it on you, all of my love, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do with all this love, yeah. And it goes like this, USC. It goes like this. Sing with me. What am I gonna do? 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 Spend it all. Yeah, I wanna spend it all on you. On a Sunday, a beautiful Sunday at USC. Come on. Put your hands together with me now, Universal Spirit Center. All this love, sending it out to my friends. Ah, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do with all this love. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Let's see you soon.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you, Reverend Kevin, for your beautiful talk this morning. Yeah, I was really moved. So I was asked to come this morning to talk to you about why I give financially to Universal Spirit Center. It's my pleasure, but it was great to reflect on it over the last few days and after the panic of being in front of a group of people with a microphone. So I finally brought it down to 3 things. There are 3, and they're all about connection. Connection to myself, connection to community, and connection to the broader community. So I'll just say a little bit about each one. I come here every Sunday, sometimes Wednesdays, sometimes other nights for classes, to get re-inspired and I feel re-grounded in myself, in my values, and the value of myself as a person on this earth, so that I can go back out into the trenches, which is often how it feels, especially in the turbulent times that we're in right now, but to go back out to the community grounded and ready to be present, take a breath, leave a little space, and be present to whatever comes up. Rooted against the wind is the way I feel about it. The second one is about being connected as part of community. And I know that getting in touch with my own finances on the personal basis has been a challenge through my life in different kinds of ways. But seeing this community from up close as a part of the Stewardship Corps, and seeing how mindfully and creatively and carefully our pooled finances are taken care of to help us creating in what we want in the world, among us as well as out there, I feel really confident about pouring as much as I possibly can into keeping the doors open. And I will say, I'm celebrating this week the fact that I finally finished paying off my pledge to the Journey Home Fund, because thank you. I want those doors there for us, wherever that may be, and I know that where is being worked on by people who are looking carefully, and they're going to find us a place. So I hope you'll join me in that effort to finish off your pledge. And the third part is as part of a broader community. And I've had the privilege of coordinating the efforts with the Stewardship Corps for the Global Heart Tithe. And I have the opportunity now to just say, we as a community are participating in the flow of abundance in the broader, on beyond our doors, wherever they are, in the broader community by giving 10% of all that is donated by members of this community, giving that outward to places and organizations that are in line with the values of this community. And remember, anybody can apply for a Global Heart Tithe. And I'm happy to celebrate that this last month we gave $1,000 to a group called Via International. I think there's a slide going up that tells a little bit about Via International, and doing work at the border and supporting our values in helping people and developing people, local leaders, to move forward with that. And the other group is called Tree Sisters. And I should say, Via International was brought to our attention by Sue Ellen Sorensen, a member of our community. And the second was brought to our attention by Johnny Davino, and he and his partner Hunter, they were interested in Tree Sisters, who are planting trees all around the world, not just about climate change, about trying to combat climate change, but also about remembering we are one community and Mother Earth needs to be really taken care of. And so this is the month of divine feminine, so it's a good time. And so we're thrilled. So I give my money because I want to be an active part of myself with my money and the community of Universal Spirit Center and on beyond. So I hope you will join me. And we have another slide here of the many ways that you are able to give financially to this community. And I hope you'll join me in celebration of the existence of Universal Spirit Center, and that it may go on forward doing this incredible work as a beacon of light to the broader community, and to feed our own souls, and well as the fact that we can then go out and be Universal Spirit Center in the broader community. So I'd also like to remind you, many of you are pledgers who give on a regular basis or have it set up through your bank, and so that is paid regularly. But if this Sunday was especially important to you, remember, there's a little basket by the back door, and you might want to throw an extra little bit in there, or a lot. And it's always appreciated, especially during this challenging time. Thank you. Take care.
Ooh, oh, my God is awesome. God can move mountains, protects me in the valley, covers me from the rain. My God is awesome, heals me when I'm tired, strength when I get lost, and guides me on my way. 'Cause my God is awesome. 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 My God is awesome. Heals me when I'm tired, strength when I get lost, and guides me on my way. My God is awesome. 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 My God is mighty, powerful, wonderful, loving. My God is mighty, powerful, wonderful, and loving. My God is awesome.
Walker. And our house band, Ollie, Matt, and Linda. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Dana, thanks for the heartfelt sharing that you shared with us. I felt like I got to know you a little better when you've been up here, so I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Sharonda for the heartfelt prayer. Sharonda G. Morris. Lee, thank you for the announcements. Bob Mosai is setting all this up. He's painting. Thank you, Lee. Acknowledge Corey and Sarah behind the cameras there, behind the computers. And all of you pretend practice people, thank you for being here. And thank you for joining in. We're so glad that you're with us this morning. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands over your heart, to take a deep breath in, to feel into the presence, this divine presence, this awesome loving presence. And so we breathe into it. We call it forth into our experience. Call it forth into our bodies. We feel this presence in our bodies and our lives. And we send forth this energy, this love, this awesome God into our daily lives, connecting with every individual we come in contact with. And know this with me together as we say together. And so it is. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. Blessings.
Oh, something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart, and I won't let go. Oh yeah, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart, and I won't let go. Oh yeah, something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to us right here, right now. Oh, yeah. Something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to us right here, right now. Can't you feel it in your body? Oh yeah, feel it in your soul. Ooh, ooh. Feel it in your heart and let it take control. Feel it in your body. Oh yeah, feel it in your soul. Feel it in your heart